Rise and Shine Rwanda, it's Friday the 22nd of May.
Coming up on today's weekly review show. No more boarding sections for primary school students. We found out about more on the government's recent decision.
Worried about money fraud? Well, we met a business that's here to regulate this problem.
Arnold sat down with a female basketball star, Sandra Cantore.
And we attended an event that brought regional fashion to Kigali.
Good morning and welcome to our weekly review show where we take you back through the best of the week here on Rise and Shine Rwanda. It's just gone 7 o'clock in the morning and my name is Makeda Mahario.
And I'm Regis Isheja. Over the next hour, we'll bring you a review of the week's top stories, analysis, debate, and insights into the stories making headlines here in Rwanda and across the world. The Rise and Shine crew have throughout the week been diligently gathering and preparing everything you need to know about what's happening here in Rwanda and around the world. Well, it's been a busy week for us here at the Rise and Shine headquarters. One of the most interesting stories that we reported on this week was the ban on boarding for primary schools. Earlier this week, the government announced that it had given the 34 primary schools with boarding sections in the country 3 years to close, with the exception of schools with special needs pupils. A way to give parents the possibility to foster their own children as close as possible until they're old enough to be away from their guidance. Let's take a look back at Tuesday's report.
Going forward, boarding in primary school is not allowed, and schools that already have boarding sections have a period of 3 years to close them. By doing that, the government wants children to grow up in families and most importantly with their parents.
Uriya mwanzuro kuri jewe waranatinze kubaho kuko kuva kera numvaga ababyeyi bajyana abana i Bugande bajyana abana mu bihugu duturanye bafite iriya systeme ariko igihe nkumva ntabwo mbyakira kubera yuko uko mbibona nk'umuntu maze igihe kinini mu burezi igihe cy'abana biga cyane cyane muri primaire kiba ari igihe umwana afite ibibazo byinshi abaza abakadurere bamwegereye cyane cyane nk'ababyeyi be ba nyirasenge inshuti n'abavandimwe cyane cyane urebye n'ibyo twigisha nko mu wa mbere mu wa kabiri tuba tugerageza kubereka imiryango ya bugufi imiryango itandukanye umwana akamenya ko agira ababyara akagira ba se wabo akagira ba nyirakuru ibyo byose umwana aba agomba kubimenya.
While many emphasize the principle of a child being raised by parents, some have advocated that boarding schools are a way to learn about life away from the home's comfort. An opinion the government doesn't share by stating that parents should know that it's their primary responsibility to raise their children.
Iyo atuye mu rugo umuryango usurwa na benshi ugasanga ba nyirarume baraje ugasanga ba nyirasenge baraje ugasanga ba sekuru ba nyirakuru babyara be icyo gihe akiyumva yuko ari mu muryango kandi akabona ibihamya bifatika akabona mbese ingero nyinshi.
Now, what do primary school pupils think of the decision, and from what age do they think a child should be allowed to go to boarding school?
Hejuru ya 14.
Kubera iki?
Ku mwana hejuru ya 14 abakuze mu mutwe kandi ntago bari wa mwana nyine ukigira ibibazo ngo abura umuntu abibwira yabibwira umuntu wese yisanzuyeho atari ngombwa kubwira ababyeyi be gusa.
Numva yakagombye kujya muri interina arengeje imyaka 16.
Akagombye kubana n'ababyeyi be.
Kubera izihe mpamvu?
Kuko ari kumwe n'ababyeyi babona urukundo ruhagije ariko ari muri interina ntago ibyo yifuza cyangwa ikintu cyamubaho ntago yisanzura ku bantu bo muri interina nkuko yisanzura ku babyeyi.
Bakagombye kuba ubundi bari mu rugo biga bataha mu rugo bari kumwe n'ababyeyi babo kuko iyo bari kumwe n'ababyeyi babo akenshi bumva impanuro nyinshi, kandi iyo bari kumwe n'ababyeyi babo hari igihe bagira ibihe byiza, ariko mu mashuri babamo hari igihe wenda n'umwana ashobora kugira ikibazo wenda bigatinda kukugeraho, kandi iyo mubana hari igihe iyo kibaye uhita ubimenya.
Let's see what happens in the next 3 years as the debate goes on. Regis Sheja, Rise and Shine Rwanda.
And joining us in studio now is Narcisse Twagirumukiza, school principal at École primaire SOS Kigali. Waramutse Narcisse. Waramutse. Gira rero icyo tubwira ubwa mbere ucyumva ko bishoboka yuko za internet bazikuraho ku bana bakiri mu mashuri abanza. Byarakunejeje, wumvaga ari ibintu bikubangamiye, wumvaga byifashe bite?
Ngiye mu bisanzwe ikintu cya internet ku bana batoya kubikura mu byari bisanzwe nka systeme yari ihari, numvise ari ibintu byiza cyane kubera ko mu bisanzwe umwana kugira ngo yidevelope mu buryo bufatika agomba kugira icyo bita sécurité affective. Icyo kintu iyo kibuze rwa rukundo abonera mu muryango no kwidevelopa kwe cyangwa se n'imibereho ye ishobora kugira ibibazo mu buryo bwa équilibre, kubera ko muri iriya myaka umwana yinjira mu ishuri cyane cyane nko muri primaire akinjira mu wa mbere cyangwa mu wa kabiri, ni imyaka umwana aba ashaka kumva yuko akeneye kwisanzura. Akenshi umwana yinjira aho ngaho akaza afite ibibazo byinshi, yifuza yuko yabaza abantu bakagira icyo babimubwiraho. Hanyuma iyo bigenze bityo akisanga ari mu bana bagenzi be atabona umuntu yikonfiyaho ngo abimubwire, akenshi agendera mu kigare cy'aba bana bari muri groupe ye, ugasanga ibyo bitekerezo nibyo agiye kugenderaho. Mu gihe yaba yari kumwe n'ababyeyi be, ibyo bitekerezo yakabibahaye, noneho bo bakagerageza kumugida.
Ese kubari hanze bavuga bati ariko burya internet iraforma, ituma umuntu amenya ubuzima bwo hanze, ituma umuntu anakura nk'imburagihe. Kuri abo bantu bababwira iki?
Icyo nibaza kuvuga ngo internet iraforma, hariho abo iforma mu buryo intellectuel, ariko mu buryo bw'ubumuntu bwo kumva yuko umwana ari mu muryango afite zampuhwe, afite bwa burere akura mu muryango, afite cya gishyikagira barumuna be cyangwa bakuru be, akenshi usanga ntacyo afite.
Narcisse, umaze igihe kitari gito mu kwigisha muri education en general. Ese wowe iyo urebye abana dufite hano mu Rwanda, harimo benshi b'imfubyi, harimo benshi badafite hepfo na ruguru, bavuga bati ese nduwande. Ese nk'abo ngabo bafite abantu babafasha bakabakurikira, n'abo ngabo bagombye gusigara mu rugo bakiri abana bafite imyaka 9, 10, 11, cyangwa se bo bagombye kujya mu internet?
Mu bisanzwe internet ikemura ibibazo bike ukurikije development y'umwana cyangwa se ahazaza he. Nkatwe tukunze gukora mu bigo duhura n'abo bana kenshi, usanga abo bana kubera yuko ya developye ikintu cyo kuba muri institution, usanga kenshi aba muri cya kindi cya horaire, hari umwanya wo kurya, hari umwanya wo kuryama, hari umwanya wo gukora etude, hari umwanya, ni ukuvuga ngo umwana ntagira umwanya wo kwiyepanisa kenshi. Ugasanga bya bibazo afite byakagombye gukemurirwa mu muryango, akegera nka se akamubwira ati ibi ni byiza, ibi ni bibi, biriya wumva muri groupe abana bakubwiye ngo agerageze kubifilitra, bimwe abirojeta amubwira ati ibi ni bibi, waguma ni byiza. Iyo occasion ntayagira kubera ko wa murezi we, cyane cyane ndavuga mu bigo bya boarding school, usanga umurezi afite abana nka 50 meme 100 bari mu kigo areberera. Ni ukuvuga ngo umwana ntagira umwanya wo kugira ngo ibimukorerwa nk'iyo horere baba bamupangiye ngo agire icyo ayivugaho, noneho bagendere ku bitekerezo bye kugira ngo iyo horere nawe ayiyumvemo.
Narcisse, leta y'u Rwanda, guverinoma y'u Rwanda yahaye ibigo bigifite ama interna ya primaire byabahaye imyaka 3 kugira ngo babe bafunze ibyo bigo abana basubira iwabo mu ngo zabo. Ese ikibazo nyine nibaza nk'umwana uri mu wa 4 cyangwa mu wa 5 primaire usigaje umwaka umwe cyangwa 2 ngarangize ishuri primaire, ese ubwo azahita avamo ajya muri interna ageze muri secondaire bizagenda bite?
Okay, ibintu byerekeranye na interna nk'abo bana bari mu wa 4 cyangwa mu wa 5 ubundi muri rusange ibyiza byakagombye kuba bari mu miryango iwabo, ariko kandi niba baratangiye ya systeme yo kuba muri interna nabyo ntari rirarenga kuri bamwe, kuko development y'umuntu ni unique. Hariho umwana ubusanga yatenya maturité mu gihe runaka, hariho n'abatinda kwatenya maturité ku buryo usanga niyo yagera yaba afite imyaka 12, 13, 11 ashobora kwiyintegra facilement akaba atakiri très moutonnier. Ariko hariho na bamwe baba bashaka kugendera muri bya bindi bamenyereye bya institution, akumva ko mbese no kuvuga ngo aba a developer ya morale de contrainte, ni ukuvuga ngo icyo bamubwiye nicyo akora.
Narcisse, tuganira n'abaganza n'abandi bana twaganiriye nabo, ugenda wumva bakubwira bati kuri njyewe umwana wagombye kujya muri internet yaba afite imyaka nka 14 mba numva ari umwana ukuze mu bitekerezo uzi ibyo arimo. Ese wowe wumva ari kuyihe myaka umwana bamwemerera kwinjira muri internet?
Okay, je uko mbyumva ni nabyo bya bindi muri famille. N'ubundi iyo uri muri famille wawe ufite uko wiyorganiza ukurikije imibereho, bya bindi nakubwiye byo kubaza abana ibitekerezo byabo bakagira icyo babikubwiye nk'ibitekerezo, noneho ahari bigaherwaho. Simvuze ngo 100%, ariko uko yabyeexprima kose burya kuri we hari icyo biba bimufitiye nk'agaciro. Ugerageza kuvanga ibyamubera byiza byawe ugafata n'ibye, noneho ukabasha kugira ngo umufashe nawe kwiyumva mu bitekerezo byamufatiwe. Hanyuma rero kuvuga ngo umwana yajya muri interna mu myaka ingahe, imyaka ubundi ifatiye muri development y'umwana ubundi no mu kwizera kunyuranye. Hariho n'abanyamadini bavuga bati umwana ntakwiye kubatizwa munsi y'imyaka 12. Ni ukuvuga munsi y'imyaka 12 umwana ataraba capable yo kwifatira icyemezo. Ariko noneho nyuma y'imyaka 12 muri rusange niko navuze ashobora kujya muri interna kuko ntabakiri mutoniye cyane. Ariko kandi hariho bivana n'umwana, hashobora kuba hari umwana muri iyo myaka 12 ubona agihuzagurika akigendera ku by'abandi adashobora kwitekereza ngo tange igitekerezo cyangwa agira umurongo yagenderaho.
Narcisse, turagushimira cyane kuba witabiriye ubutumire bwacu kandi nizere ko atari ubwanyu.
Murakoze cyane.
Murakoze. It's great that it finally happened. A lot of people wanted to see that decision made to make sure that kids before secondary school are still at home, are not in boarding school. I think it's a great decision by our government.
I agree. There's two sides to every story.
Absolutely.
But you know what? Folks got to do what they got to do.
Right.
All right, now another story that really caught our attention this week was a triple set of genius minds. They are International Golden Climate Olympiad gold medal winner Ishimwe Karimba and bronze medal winning brothers Peter and Patrick Ejiofor. The competition was held in Mombasa a couple of weeks ago and involved 160 projects from about 25 countries. Organic insecticides, guerrilla conservation, they're just brilliant, and we guess the world too agrees. Let's have a look back.
It's not every day that you come across primary school students with an IQ that makes you question yours. Meet Ishimwe Karimba and brothers Peter and Patrick Ejiofor. Ishimwe is convinced an organic homemade insecticide derived from pyrethrum is one of the solutions to keep our environment cleaner, and the Ejiofor brothers have come up with a project on gorilla conservation that will make even our very own RDB experts envious. Hard to believe that they're 6 and 8.
How they're being treated, how people hunt them down for rituals and me, that they should stop doing this. because so they cannot be extinct from this world. Let's start with our ideas. Then I was passing around ideas like conservation of gorillas. Then me and my brother we decided to do it.
The world needs an organic insecticide because synthetic insecticides are harming our environment and also harming us, giving us problems in breathing and many other diseases.
Recently, at the yearly International Golden Climate Olympiad held in Mombasa and involving 160 projects from about 25 countries, Ishimwe came out on top, his insecticide project winning the gold medal, and both Peter and Patrick won bronze with their gorilla conservation one.
Winning the medals has taught us that this is very important, that people should know more about this to help stop it from being overboard, from going overboard.
This is not the first time students from Kigali's Hope Academy make Rwanda proud, as other students from the school won a bronze medal in the same contest last year. This year, the students are also listed among the finalists for Genius USA, another global contest, and will next month travel to Bucharest, Romania to participate in the Infometrics competition. The future could not be brighter for them. VGC Sheja, Rise and Shine Rwanda.
Yesterday we had the three geniuses in studio here, and I started by asking them about those projects, those award-winning projects. Take a look. And how you guys doing?
Good, thank you.
Do you guys know that we're really, truly proud of you guys of what you've accomplished?
Yeah.
All right, how did it feel, but before we get into the projects and what got you guys to win, how did you feel when you won? Who did you want to dedicate your win to first?
For me, I wanted to dedicate my win to my grandmother and my parents because they helped me very much in what I was doing, and I wouldn't have gotten gold without their help and support.
All right, Peter and Patrick, who did you want to dedicate your win to?
I want to dedicate it to my parents because they're the people who didn't give up on us when sometimes we don't used to do that much work, and they keep on telling us to improve. Yeah, motivate us.
It's the same thing for you?
Yeah.
All right, now let's get into it. Ishimwe, I mean, your thing was basically you're trying to explain to everybody that they need to embrace the environment a bit more and to clean it a bit more. Tell us about your project.
My project was organic insecticide, and how it helped the environment was that when people use synthetic insecticides, they harm our environment. Organic insecticides don't harm our environment. Synthetic insecticides also harm us, causing respiratory disorders and development of some cancers. And organic insecticide does not affect any person or anything in any way.
Now, when I first spoke to you the other day when we met and you told me about organic insecticide, it was my first time hearing about it. What got you into it? Who spoke to you about it?
My grandmother is the one who gave me the idea. And so after hearing about it, I researched a little about it, then found out about this place called Musanze in the northern province.
Yes.
And then from there I went to see a scientist who was working on the organic insecticide, and then he answered a lot of questions I had. He told me the components of pyrethrum, and yeah, most of my information comes from that trip, as well as the research I did. All that helped me a lot.
Nice. Patrick and Peter, you guys end up winning the bronze medal. And the reason why you guys won that is because you're all about protecting our gorillas. Mm-hmm. Now, how did you get to think about it? Have you guys been to any of our parks here to actually see them? And if not, what got you into it?
Well, what got us into it is that like because first it was just an idea, and we didn't know much about it. Then we started to research, and we found out that gorillas are very special animals, and we decided to take on that project and do it.
Now, do you know how important gorillas are to Rwanda?
Yeah, because gorillas are one of the tourist attractions. They make Rwanda generate most of the income to the economy.
All right, nice. Ishimwe, now that you've won, what do you want other kids, your classmates, your cousins, or your friends? What do you want them and other Rwandan kids who are watching you right now? How do you want them to get inspired? What do you want them to do? And you want them to defend other causes and bring them to the forefront.
They should look at our country and find out what is affecting our country. From that, they should start looking at what they find and then trying to tell people why they shouldn't do something or why they should do something and why it is important, what it does for our country, and it should help our country a lot in those ways.
All right, Peter and Patrick, any plans to go visit gorillas now that you've won this prize? And then what's next? I mean, how much more can you mobilize young people of your age and even elders?
Right now, as we've researched, we want to see the gorillas to see how they've been facing these problems, to see how these creatures, how we've been hearing about them so much. We want to see how they are doing it in real life, how they're acting. Instead of just reading it from a book, we want to see it in action. So we will visit the gorillas in the place.
Now, do you have the kind, Ishimwe, do we have the kind of insecticides that you're preaching here that we should be using here in Rwanda? Do we already have them?
The industry is working on producing such insecticides, but most people in Rwanda do not know about this sort of insecticide. They have to be taught of it, what the importances are, and why these importances should be taken to action, and if they should use this, what they get out of it. And in fact, Rwanda is now trying to make pyrethrum one of the main income resources. Exports are now starting, and Rwanda is now producing 15% of the world's pyrethrum.
Nice. Now, Peter and Patrick, what else do you guys want to accomplish now that you've done this? I mean, what path are you following in school? Who do you want to become? A doctor, maybe? A lawyer? Like a park conservator? What do you guys want to become?
I don't really know yet.
You don't know yet?
Because there are a lot of choices.
All right, and how about you?
I want to be a robotics engineer.
Okay, and why is that?
To help the world with robots that can help mankind do our things that normal humans can't do now. 90% of the ocean has not been discovered. This can be done by robots if we improve them today.
All right, Ishimwe, and what do you want to become? What do you want to do later on?
I'd like to become a physicist.
A physician?
I enjoy math a lot.
Oh, okay.
And also like studying stars, and I also like to be a computer programmer, because I enjoy a lot of computer games, but also wonder how do people do this. And yes, I have a very curious mind. I want to find out a lot. So between those two choices, I don't know what to pick.
All right. Have you guys been getting hit on by girls now at your school? You getting more girls now?
No.
No. All of a sudden, everybody's shy. All right, guys. Thank you very much for being on the show. We appreciate it.
Cute.
They're adorable. They're just adorable. But more than just being adorable, they're very smart. Like I said, they make you question your IQ. So they're doing pretty good.
Nice report, all right?
Right.
You're watching the review edition of Rise and Shine Rwanda. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Here is to traveling and saving. Starting 1st of April to the 1st of June, travel with Rwanda and take advantage of our reduced fares and enjoy our world-class services in great comfort and safety.
Fly our dream to the heart of Africa.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda, the review. Now, there were some big business stories in the news this week, from an initiative promoting sex education to one fighting cybercrimes. Let's take a look back at the best of the week in business.
As Rwanda continues to make giant strides in the use of ICT, cyber attacks continue to occur frequently and result in serious financial consequences for businesses and government institutions. Well, Fidelis visited one business that has made it its first priority to ensure the safety of our money. So take a look back.
Rates in Rwanda are not as alarming as they are in the rest of the world due to the average internet penetration. But it is important that the fight against cybercrime starts right now, right? Well, this company is doing just that.
MobiCash is a payment service provider that has a variety of services, and you don't have to have a bank account or a mobile phone to be able to transact. And it is independent of mobile networks. That is, you can use it on each and on any mobile network that you're using that are operating in the country.
So how are they different from any other company? By adopting biometric authentication, they're able to ensure security of their clients' money by personalizing everything from fingerprints, facial recognition, and voice recognition to each of their clients' accounts.
Basically, we have 3 channels. First is web, another is Android. On Android, we have many devices. Then there is also, for customers who doesn't have smartphones, they use SMS. So there is some short codes you put in your SMS, then you access the platform and you get the services. So let's start with the web. So the web is like you have your laptop or computer, internet enabled. So we have our agent application. So the agent application is just right here. With also a fingerprint reader. Fingerprint reader is just this one. Okay, so an agent with a laptop, internet enabled, with fingerprint, he can serve the customers. So with MobiCash Financial Services, so from there we just list the MobiCash, like cash in, cash out, transfer money. Also we have value-added services like airtime, pay tax, pay TVs. So we do, increase our services depending on our customers or as the company grows. We just like to try to include many services as much as we want on the platform.
Born out of the need to create a secure cashless economy, they say their main target group is people living in rural parts of the country.
That's the group of people we are targeting mainly, because these are the people that haven't had the chance to get the banking services and financial services closer to them, because either of the geographical location or because of lack of literacy. And this is like our major target. What we are doing is we want the unserved, these that don't have these financial services, access these financial services through MobiCash.
As businesses like these grow in the country, they will facilitate protection of the public and institutions against money fraud in the future. Karangwa Fidelis, Rise and Shine Rwanda.
And joining us now in studio are Chusa Charles and Mutesi Patience from MobiCash Rwanda. Welcome, guys, to the show.
Thank you.
So I'm going to start with you, Charles. So we basically have already understood how some of the things that you guys do to ensure the safety of our money. But how does someone approach you? How does someone get basically involved, or how do they start banking or saving their money with you? Basically, let's assume I'm here with my money. I approach you. How does this whole process go down?
Normally in MobiCash, we have 4 kind of people who approach us. The first one, they are clients. They're the one we are serving. It is the population of Rwanda. Then the second one, it's an agent who comes and becomes a Mobicash teller. For an agent, now he opens an account with Mobicash, deposit the money on the bank account, and comes to us, and we load his money on the Mobicash account so that he can start to sell the Mobicash services, because he is the main person that Mobicash is built on. Then we have a third type of approach that you have. It's a merchant, shops, supermarkets, coffee, those people where people can go now and spend their money. So we give them accounts that a client, when goes there, he can make a payment with Mobicash account. The last one, they are the super agents. We call them aggregators. They are the one who can have many agents under them. Then with them, they open one account with Mobicash and gives a several kind of agents accounts, so that with agent, a person can come to deposit money or withdraw the money or access all the family of services that we give Mobicash, because we have a lot of services that we give around the client.
Perfect. Now, Patience, you as the marketing manager, you guys are clearly still new on the market, but how is the competition like so far? And do you think that the Rwandan people are ready for this kind of services that you're offering?
The Rwandan people are ready for the service because they actually need it the most. They need a secure way of doing transactions, but the market is so saturated with already existing MNOs who are doing certain products that are kind of similar, though they are not the same. So the challenge we face is trying to convince our clients to consume a new product that kind of has some similarities with the already existing operators. That is a big challenge, but we are ready to take it on hard on. There's no business that starts easily. So I guess, yes, we are ready.
Yeah. Perfect. And Charles, so anybody can become an agent, right?
Anybody.
Yeah. So how many agents do you have already on the ground working at the moment? And are you in Kigali only, or are you actually also outside of Kigali?
As Mobicash motto says, it's for everybody. So which means we serve the whole population with the whole country. But now our agents are in Kigali, and few of them are in rural areas. Like in Kigali, we have more than 30 agents. And in rural areas we have 15. We are planning to grow big, but exactly we have now a new deal which is going on of microfinance, and with them now we can grow and reach the whole population in the whole sectors, district of the whole countries, and that is coming very soon.
Perfect. And Patience, so you already told us about tax payments that can be done on the Mcash platform. But what are some of the other? We understood there's also you can buy airtime. But what are some of the other products that people can buy or purchase on your Mcash platform?
With the Mcash product, you can pay TV, that is DSTV, Canal Sat, Star Times, and then you can buy electricity, you can buy airtime from all the networks, and you can still pay your Rwanda revenue non-fiscal taxes in just 1 second, instead of queuing up at the banks and all those long procedures. Yes, at the moment that's what we have that is operational, but we are looking to expand these services and have as many services as we can on our platform to make it a one-stop center for each and everything. You want to buy some things online, you just click on the menu and then it says, do you want to pay with Mobicash? Do you want to use the way you see other operators?
Yes, yes.
It is going to be in that menu very soon.
Really nice. Now, Charles, back to you. So we know electronic platforms, as much as they're gaining a lot of momentum in Rwanda, we still have a problem with our ICT. It's not as good as it is, especially when it comes to internet connections. Aren't you worried that this is going to affect your business or how you run your business? And how are you going to address this challenge in the future to ensure that your transactions run swiftly?
Normally, that's why we have different type of channels. When we come from Android, we go to the web, we go to the SMS, we go to the USSD. It's us trying to address all kind of channels so that when one is down, we can go to another one. Let's say for an SMS doesn't require internet connection. So for a client, he can serve himself with an SMS. USSD is the same thing. Now, when it comes to agents, we know that sometimes they need they use Android devices, you've seen. But when some of them, they can say we are not comfortable with Android because sometimes...
Especially the people in rural areas who don't even want to use an Android phone.
Exactly. Yeah. We now bring other devices, and we've already brought some of them. We are testing, which uses really a small kind of data, as in it uses a low data so that it can serve in the rural areas independent of the network that it's connected to. Now with that, we know it can be a good solution to the rural areas.
With the technology advancement today, where we have updates coming every day, you see a new phone every day with different features, this is where Mobicash actually comes in and is offering so many solutions to back up the security. That is why we have voice biometrics, we have fingerprint, and we are developing the facial recognition. So even if you use your PIN, you have something to back it up.
Exactly, you have all three things to back it up.
Exactly. So you won't have someone saying, okay, maybe my wife stole my PIN and then she withdrew all the money. Or I sent my son the other day and he kept the PIN, so maybe he came and withdrew the money without my knowledge. So that is how we were trying to go with the times.
Perfect. Now, lastly, before we wrap up, what are you planning for the future? What should people expect from Mobicash in the near future?
What people should expect, a service provider that gives reliability, accessibility, and a secure platform where your money is safe, and trust me, you'll thank us later.
Okay, perfect. Thank you guys so much for coming to the show.
Thank you too.
Fidelis always has the solution.
Impressive.
I'm telling you.
Truly.
Well, you're watching Rise and Shine's weekly review show. Let's take a look back at the week that was in sports with Arnold Quizera. So this week, we saw Arnold delve into some interesting sports stories, from the cricket fraternity paying tribute to those we lost during the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, to look into the world of basketball superstar. I think I liked that story.
I know you did.
And you know what? I know some people on the shorter lady side that were very inspired by that story as well.
Yes, she's amazing.
Well, tell us more, actually. Tell us more.
Right. Sandra Kanhore has been the go-to girl of the national women's basketball team and APR basketball club for the past year. And earlier this week, Arnold caught up with the budding star to find out what basketball means to her. Take a look.
Aged 21, a former football prospect, Sandra Kanhore has been tearing up the nets, but this time on the basketball court. This student has elevated the position of a female point guard, making it her own at both club level for APR Basketball Club and the national women's team. But what led to her to take up the game of basketball?
Nabonye ari umukino mwiza uryoshye gukina ko mbere narawangaga nakina football ndangije ngiye gukina rimwe mbona nyene ni byiza biraryoshye kurusha foot. Papa wanje yakundaga nyene imikino yakinaga na football, none akajya bidukundisha cyane, najya gukina mu muhanda nkina football akambwira dukina sawa. Noneho mama wanje yakundaga ko mbivamo, arambwira ngo basi zakine basket ni byiza bijyamo gutyo.
A born winner going by how much she puts into her performances, it's no surprise what her greatest disappointments are.
Ingorane navuga wenda ari amadefete y'amamace nagiye nkina ugasanga ndababaye gutyo nitwitware neza, nicyo navuga cyambabazaga ariko nta kindi.
Women's basketball has not been held in the same threshold to the men's counterparts, and Sandra thinks this can change with a few adjustments by Ferraba.
Kubikondesha abana b'abakobwa nibyo ntabwo bakunda gukina, ariko nko ku bigo cyane haba hari abana biga mu ma interna bagomba kubakundisha gukina, kubera niyo abatoza babohereje ngo baje gukorera amakampu mu bigo niho bakura abakinnyi bakomeye. Ugasanga nyene barabikunze, hakaba ibintu by'ama interscolaire abana bagakina bakabonamo abakinnyi gutyo nibwo abana bazamuka.
Known as a two-way guard, Sandra's idol is one of the best to have ever picked up a basketball and share the same title.
Kobe Bryant.
Her rise from Burundi to becoming a basketball star in Kigali was no mean feat, and the 5'1" player has a message for future prospects.
Imikino ni myiza ituma ugira inshuti nta bintu byinshi ujyamo bibi umva uba witaho gukina ukavuga ndagenda gukina nduhuke nige amasomo nta bintu byinshi bituma unavoyaja unagenda ahantu kure ugira inshuti nyinshi mu bindi bihugu.
Female sports disciplines have been neglected for a long time in Rwanda, and one would hope the determination of players such as Sandra Kandore would translate onto the sports management. Arnold Kwizera, Rise and Shine, Rwanda.
She's a great one. She's a great one. One of the budding superstars that we have in the country.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. We'll be right back after the break.
Every news outlet for the most part of the week was talking about the crisis in Burundi. After weeks of protests against the incumbent president seeking a third term and more than 100,000 people fleeing the country amid fears of what's to come, a failed coup took place in Burundi last week as President Pierre Nkurunziza and other East African community heads of states were getting ready to address the situation in an extraordinary summit in Dar es Salaam. With President Nkurunziza returning to Burundi and the man behind the failed coup, Major General Godefroy Niyombare, nowhere to be found, we brought in political analyst Albert Rudatsimburwa to give us an insight on the situation. Take a look. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right, now, when you were here last week, we were talking about a coup. 2 days later, we found out that the coup had failed, and Niyombare's men admitted that it failed. We haven't seen, no one has seen him, he hasn't been found. But President Nkurunziza is back in Bujumbura. Can you assess the situation for us at the moment?
At this time, yes, it's consumed. The coup has failed. But looking back in what happened actually, one can wonder if there was ever a coup for real, in the sense that since the beginning, some of the strangest symptoms were obviously in our faces. You know, a coup is normally something that you take the chrono and it has to run and it has to be finished in a minimum of time. It can never even go beyond 3 to 4 to 5 hours. You know, after that it's too late. So having in the same evening these guys still wondering if other forces would join them, and then the following day to have to really start battling with the same people they were negotiating with, makes us look at all of it in another way, I would say, and it looks more like Niyombare and Cyril and Ndayirutye have been in fact actually trapped by the same people they were hoping they would be on the same front against this third term and the Nkurunziza side. Apparently have been trapped by the same side. Now, the reason why I say that is that because when we were monitoring the coup, we were in touch with some people who were in touch also with the Niyombare and Cyril and the Rutier. So they were constantly giving us some updates that every time they said, no, we're still busy and we're talking. But they gave us some details that when you look at those details after, you start to connect dots, you know?
You get to question a little
And
bit.
exactly, and also because the whole thing was, first of all, it comes out that those guys, Niyombare and Cyril, were invited, were prompted by the Prim Nyongabo, who is the chief of staff, to do the coup, to do a coup that they had been discussing prior to all of that. It was somehow they were in touch. So that shows you already that these guys were like on two sides. So they had been in touch. And on that, the night before, apparently, according to those comments, they prompt them to do it on that day that the president would be traveling to the summit.
No.
Classical. It's a very classical.
Do you believe that General Nyombare, going by his popularity, because he was easily one of the most popular leaders of the Burundian forces, going by his popularity and his influence within the party, if he had quit the party, he would have been a big threat to President Nkurunziza's third term?
Well, at this time, the scenario was that he was the threat because he was not in the Congress. He had been kicked out of his office. His wife had been a victim of an attempt on her life. So everybody knew Nyombare and some of his side were a threat. So it was indeed an opportunity also to get him out of his hidings, because ever since, according to some reports, there was a bounty on his head that had been put by Nkurunziza. So somehow that was a way to get him out by his colleagues. The Chief of Staff and Minister of Defense said, you know what, tomorrow is D-Day. And the other guys, how well are we prepared? I said, we have arranged everything. They told them the scenario according to our contacts. So they went into that. And finally, to find out that the following day that they were alone, you know. So again, they tried to fight. I don't know how much of that is staged or not, because there only 3 people were killed in such a loud and heavy, according to everybody, you know. So casualties were so minimal. So all of that shows us that, you know, at the end of the day, that coup doesn't look like it was a real coup, but it was eventually masterminded by the one who says he's the victim.
So now that the coup attempt has failed, apparently, you know, there have been some calls for the election to be delayed, and now Presidence in Burundi is saying that maybe that will be the case. What do you think, though? Because I would think that if the elections are delayed, that wouldn't be the best for Nkurunziza. So
I would say, if you don't mind, I just want also to come back first by the fact that when the coup was definitely clear that failed, and Nkurunziza coming back, at the end of the day, he's back at square one. Because he's still there for a third term, but that nobody wants, and still facing some freezing of aid of donors,
countries,
all right? And the U.S. topped up on that to say, you know what, and your troops might not even eventually qualify for the AMISOM, for the Somalia. And on top of that if there has to be elections also, if you don't have all the environment in place, like the free media, security, and all that, yes, then you should delay them. So for them now today, saying that they might delay, I believe it's more just to show that there is, you know what, okay, we are considering what you are saying, we might delay. But that's not really the most important thing. I think they don't have the means also to go on.
Now, during the Pierre Nkurunziza's speech 2 nights ago, when you heard what he said, he talked about Somalia and said that Al-Shabaab could be involved in what's happening. BBC reported that on their website yesterday. It's the main news for Africa. Now, do you really believe that will be true, or is he staging something? Is he saying that so that, you know, he will get the backing of certain countries and some donors will come back in his favor?
Well, yeah, I think it's more. It seems obvious that it's more supposed to trigger some sympathy and support for that, and also it looks at those fistful of dollars that is not going to miss by the U.S. not backing the Burundian contingent that is supposed to go to Somalia. So all of that, you know, it's not just that actually. They even declared that they want the media to reopen, you know, but still, yet they've been putting a lot of pressure already on the people of civil society who are in fact in the night, most of the time hiding underground, you know, and they can't even get to their own properties for the moment. Only today I heard that they were going around with the ombudsman, but for days you have always a police stationing at the different media outlets, you know, and they won't let you in, you know. So I think Nkurunziza is somehow...
destroyed.
Pardon?
Some of those media houses have been destroyed.
No, they've all been destroyed.
Right.
Actually, there's only, for the moment, the national broadcaster that is still alive.
Radio Maria, of course.
And Radio Maria.
So before we have to wrap up, because they're saying wrap up.
Right.
But before we do that, this is something that we didn't get to ask you the last time that you were here. But what exactly do you think that this Burundi crisis means to Rwanda? Because at the end of the day, I know a lot of media are saying that Rwanda has more to do with it than really we do. But they're our neighbor, they're part of the East African community, they're part of the region. What does this mean for us?
There is something, and I'm sorry that we have to wrap up, but maybe I can come another time. There's something that we should also recall again. Ever since the last year, anything that came from Burundi was always pointing a finger at Rwanda. And it has been a strategy of the Nkurunziza side to give it another name than what they used to do in previous elections, to point at Tutsi. So if you don't want the Tutsi to come back in power, then you should go for this third term, because I'm the last man standing. That is his theory. And the other, because he's facing competition from the other parties who are saying that don't bring back ethnicity, because that's not the point. It's about governance.
We've moved past that.
We've moved past that. It's now about governance. Now, bringing in Rwanda's, even if in the last speech that is posted on his website, the last paragraph, some analysts are saying that, in fact, he means Rwanda when he's pointing at enemies, and he means Rwanda. And indeed, I've heard from observers on location there that under the table, in fact, they are saying that some grenades, some weapons have been now imported into Burundi, and all of that,
Well, it's a mess. I really hope that you can come back
All
and,
right.
and
Very
chat a
soon.
little bit
Let's do
more
this
with us,
again.
because we're not ready to wrap up yet.
Have just a wonderful day, and I'll be back whenever you call.
You're welcome back.
Thank you, Albert. Albert, Rudatsimurgwa, and our very own Arnold there discussing what's happening in Burundi. It's worrisome, but hopefully this changes in the days and weeks to come.
And it's good to get some insight when I think hopefully he'll be back next week.
It
or
is good.
someone else.
Absolutely, yeah. You're watching the review edition of Rise and Shine Rwanda. We'll be right back with a look at this week's lifestyle story.
Here is to traveling and saving. Starting 1st of April to the 1st of June, travel with Rwanda and take advantage of our reduced fares and enjoy our world-class services in great comfort and safety.
Fly our dream to the heart of Africa.
Fashion is a multi-billion-dollar industry and a big part of culture worldwide. Kigali is slowly starting to embrace the concept of Rwandan and regional fashion, with local designers beginning to make their mark abroad and more fashion events popping up throughout the year. Over the weekend, we went to one such event that saw a Ugandan company bringing its goods across the border to Kigali for a one-day sale. Let's take a look back. If you thought only rock stars and Egyptian expos went on tour, think again. Hosted by Rwandan-based men's accessory brand House of Tayo, the Ugandan-based Bol Kampala made its way to Kigali during its 4-city tour to sell its unique pieces from around Africa. You may recognize this space from Alan's report on the designer Matthew Rugamba, but this time we're back for a special event.
I'm welcoming Bold from Kampala, and we have a pop-up one-day event. We're part of their 4-city tour, and we're excited to host them, have them here. We have a variety of great products. I have 2 women from the cooperative I work with doing customized designs to t-shirts, so it's going to be a fun day. You have so many local Rwandans, coming in, who have already come in, bought so many different products, and others who are yet to come through, but they want to, try on designs from the region, from the country, so it's pretty exciting, and it's good for us to support one another like this.
The pieces are chosen by Bold Kampala from 35 different designers hailing from 7 different countries in Africa, of course including Rwanda. Patrons were also able to purchase designs from House of Tayo, who had 2 of the tailors he works with in-house to make custom designs for anyone interested.
urabona ibintu turimo gukora urabona igitenge ni umwenda ukunzwe cyane n'abadamu n'abandi bantu bandi bo hanze noneho ngewe icyo bimfashaho urabona uyu mupira turimo gukora umuntu iyo agiye akawugura abona ko ari umwenda usanzwe ariko iyo hiyongereho igitenge ababona ko hari akantu gahindutseho bigatuma ibicuruzwa aho bari kubicururiza hano babona ko hari ikintu cyahindutseho bakabasha kubona abakiriya yewe igikorwa cy'uyu munsi cyanshimishije cyane kuko mbere na mbere ndaje nkigera hano mbona ko hari abandi ba rwiyemezamirimo nkatwe nka Matthew nko abatayeri badoda imyenda nabonye imyenda itandukanye ariko ngenda ndeba ukuntu bagiye bayidoda mbona hari ikintu kindi bongereyeho ubona bagenda bayidezayininga ukuntu nanjye biramfasha numva ko mu bwonko bwanjye mfungutse hari ikindi kintu ushobora kuzagenda nongera ku madizayini tugenda dukora tunamukorera bikaba byazana abakiriya benshi.
So we're shopping here at the Bold event, and I actually want to see what some of the shoppers and the patrons think about it. So let's go.
I think it's positive. I think it shows that there's a lot of creativity that is coming up, and I think it makes things more fun. So people can have more, fun and engagement in the way they dress, or So yeah, so it's really good. I have to admit that most of the things I buy usually were from abroad, but it's a nice that the quality of the things that are coming up also from here now are starting to get to the level where they can compete internationally. So the more things like this start happening, then I think the more people who tend to buy things from outside Rwanda will start buying things from Rwanda as well.
I really love it. Sometimes I think I spend a little bit too much money on clothes when I'm in Kigali, just because I like it, one, because I like the fact that I'm supporting businesses here in Rwanda or elsewhere when I've traveled in Africa, so that's one reason. The second reason, I have clothes when I go back to the United States that no one else has, so that's the second part of why I really like it.
I love it, and I wish there were more boutiques that had locally made clothes. I really like African fabric. Things from abroad you can buy anywhere, and you can buy secondhand, but locally made things you can't find abroad. So if I'm here, I want to buy things from here.
With local designers on the rise, events like Kigali Fashion Week growing year by year, and pop-ups like these showing up in our hills, it's pretty undeniable. Interest in fashion is definitely growing here in Rwanda. We wouldn't be surprised if the country became a major player in the regional fashion industry in the years to come. Makeda Mahario, Rise and Shine Rwanda.
Okay, you get all the cool things. That's not cool.
Stop it.
All right, so from what you saw there, because I'm seeing people who were there from abroad as well, what draws them to African fabric?
I think that honestly, it looks good. You know what I mean? The same thing that draws any of our eyes to any kind of specific kind of fabric or, clothing or whatever it is. African kitenge, it's different, it's colorful, and it's quite strong. It's not soft material, but it's strong. You can make
I'm
different...
seeing it on shoes. I didn't even know that was possible.
Exactly. You can make different things out of it. You can, style it up any way you want to, and I think that's why it's becoming so big internationally as well, because if you were looking on a lot of runways last year, it was in a lot of big designers, international designers, lines and things like that. So I think that's one thing that draws them in, but as they said, they also like to support local businesses and local fashion and cultural things, you know what I mean? And it's kind of becoming something that's part of our culture now here in Rwanda, that we're starting to, find a lot more local designers, and we're starting to get into regional fashion. This is a company from Uganda, but there were some things from Kenya there and from different countries. And, I think it's really cool. It's just another way to help us get all integrated and, share what we like and, what we're interested in. I think it's really cool. The lady was from the States, the first lady, and the second lady was from Kenya. I think, I think it's really cool.
Now, how cool was it to talk to the lady, Therese, about how she, you know, she sews them, and then the whole process basically.
You know what? I thought that was really interesting. The fact that, you know, what she gets from working with Matthew from House of Tayo, or what she gets from doing events like that, is seeing how other people use the material and they give it quality. They give it, you know, they do it with quality and they give it more value, and you know, they take pride in it. And she seems like she's picked up a lot of tips from that, and she takes a lot of pride in it as well. You know, I asked her, how does she feel to be contributing to, you know, the Rwandan fashion industry, and she said, you know, she loves doing events like that because, you know, it helps her, it exposes her to different things, which is really what will help everyone. When you, the more you're exposed to new things, the more you learn new things, it's the better, you know, we all are as a society, because of course our quality raises, right? The quality of the work that we do. So I thought that was really cool. And she was making very interesting t-shirts. You know, you could buy a t-shirt that said House of Tayo or whatever on it, and she would put like some kitenge around it, or you can tell her the style that you want. It was a really fun event. And
Now
I think things like that will bring more people into buying local.
The question I've been dying to ask you, I mean, you've hosted Kigali Fashion Week and, you know, the likes. I mean, what do you see, what has the growth been for Kigali, for Rwanda's couture in your eyes since you got here?
I mean, it's not even really about doing Kigali Fashion Week, because so many people went, and you know, there's also designers from other places, but I see so many more designers since I've even been living in Rwanda, you know,
Right.
since when I first came here. And even, sure, doing different fashion shows. It's not just Kigali Fashion Week, but people have their own fashion shows. The quality is going up so much. The more people, you know, do different collections and things like that, is the more that things become more interesting, stronger, and, you know, it's more able to compete on an international stage, which is
Right.
what we want, right? We want to have more exposure. And definitely, I mean, I see the fashion industry growing at the speed of light. I think we're so focused on so many other industries here, but fashion is definitely getting up there, I'm telling you. And everyone likes to look good. Think about
Absolutely.
it.
See, I support House of Tayo.
I know you do.
I
used
do.
To, you know what? I used to wear a lot of House of Tayo on the show. I don't know why you
And
stopped.
I'm still doing it. I'm breaking a suit pretty soon.
Okay, so yeah, I know that you did also a report on shopping in markets. So
Right.
for me, it was really interesting to look at this event and look at shopping in markets, because a lot of that stuff, from what I was hearing from you and seeing in the report, is that a lot of it is imported. A lot of it comes from abroad. So
yeah.
I just can't wait for the moment when, because as of right now, I suppose you could say, you know, locally made things can be a little bit more expensive because there's not that much of a market for
Right,
it yet.
right.
But I just can't wait for the moment when things that are made here, we can buy them and buy them cheaper than the stuff in the market. You know what I mean?
Because we're here. It should be cheaper. It makes no sense.
Definitely, definitely.
All right. That's
fashion.
Right. I like the fact that we have our own now that are really taking it seriously, and the culture is really starting to you know, to get
pick up.
implemented. Right. Absolutely. I like it.
I'm looking out for you to start wearing your little snoods and your bow ties.
It's
and
coming
all
up.
that again.
I told you I have a new. There's something coming out. I'm breaking out a new suit very soon.
Well, stay tuned, I guess.
Right.
Don't forget, we love to hear your thoughts, comments, and feedback on what we're talking about here on Rise and Shine Rwanda. Tweet us at Rise and Shine RW. We're always looking for you. Like us on Facebook, send us ideas for programs, or tag us in your photos, or just comment on our statuses. Check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda YouTube page, where you can catch all the shows and reports that we upload daily. Follow us on Instagram, Rise and Shine RW. We're always posting behind the scenes photos. Or check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda website.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. We'd love to hear your feedback, so do let us know if you have an idea for the program. You've been watching the weekly review edition of Rise and Shine Rwanda with me, Regis Isheja.
And me, Makeda Mahario. We'll be back here same time, same place on Monday, so please do join us then. But for now, from the both of us and the rest of the Rise and Shine team, have a great day and an even better weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye.